Hello crocheters, welcome back to Crazy Cool Crochet, and in today's project we are working on a long cardigan or a duster. Start with a foundation chain of 86. What we'll do is leave a link up at the top of the screen, a little white bar that will take you to the beginning stitches in case you need to learn how to do the foundation chain and the double crochet, which is what we will primarily be using for this entire project. Okay, we've got our foundation chain of 86 and we are going to work in V stitches, which is all made up of double crochets. So we're going to start by double crocheting in the fourth chain from the hook. 1, 2, 3, 4. And we are going to start with a row of double crochets. So go ahead and do your double crochets all the way across. You will end up with 82 double crochets. And by the way, I'm using an H hook or a 5 millimeter. And this is going to be a generous size small. If I could ask you, while I've got your attention, to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate that so much. If you go ahead and click that little red button. Okay, we've reached the end of that first row of double crochets. Now we are going to chain 3, turn, and you're going to skip that first double crochet below. We're going to double crochet into the next chain. As you can see, there's that 2-strand chain that forms at the top. That's where you're going under, the 2 strands. Work your double crochet, chain 1, and another double crochet in that same space. And that will form the V, as you can see there. Then you're going to skip 2 of those chains, insert another V into the next chain. So it's a double, chain, double. Skip 2, V into the next, and then do that all the way across. You will end up with 27 sets of V stitches. Okay, we got to the end of that first row of V stitches, and now we are going to skip that last double crochet there, the chain on top of that. We're going to skip that and we're going to double crochet on top of this turning chain at the very end. Insert a double crochet, chain 3, turn. Now we're going to do another row of all double crochets, and that's the pattern throughout. It will be a row of double, a row of V stitches, a row of double, a row of V stitches, all the way across the panel. Now this is the back panel that we're working on, and it's primarily worked in one big panel. So for now, let's go ahead and enter 2 double crochets in the middle of that first V. And then a double crochet in that space below. And then 2 doubles into that V. And a double in the blank space. And that's what you do all the way across. Okay, we're at the end of that row of all double crochets. You entered the 2 double crochets in the center of the V, the last V. Now we're going to enter a double crochet in that next space and a double crochet on the top of that turning chain. And chain 3, turn, Now we're going to work another row of V-stitches. So we're going to skip the first space, work your double in the next chain, chain one, another double in the same space to form that first V, skip two, double crochet, chain, double crochet in the same space for the V. Now you will just keep repeating this pattern with the double crochet row, V-stitch row, double crochet row, V-stitch row, double crochet row. Okay, what we ended up doing was completing 65 rows in total. And this will give you the cardigan or the duster that, on me anyway, because I'm quite short, it ended up about an inch or two below the knee. So if you're taller, then you will want to measure it against yourself and see how many more rows you would need. And you will end on a double crochet row. After completing the back panel of 65 rows, we will do 2 front panels, and we start with a chain of 42, and then you do the double crochets all the way across for 39 double crochets, then chain 3 turn, skip that first space, enter your V-stitch in the next, skip 2, enter the V-stitch in the next, continuing in the pattern until you get to the end. When you get to the last 4 chains, counting the chains at the top, skip the 2, enter a double in the 3rd chain, and then enter another double in the turning chain, the top of the turning chain. Chain 3, turn. We're going to work a row of doubles, skip that first space, enter a double in the next space, 2 doubles in the center of the V-stitch below, 1 in the next, 2 in the V, same as for the main panel. So keep going till you get to the end. At the end of that double crochet row, enter the 2 in the V, enter a double in the next space, and then another double in the turning chain. This will give you 38 double crochets. In the row of V's, you will be completing 12 sets of V-stitches. So continue in this pattern for the 65 rows or however many rows you required to match the back panel. When you are done with the 2 front panels, you want to attach at the shoulders and place the panels wrong side out, right sides touching each other. Grab your tapestry needle with a length of yarn and just sew across the top shoulder. Just grab the top 2 chains and sew across. Okay, we are now going to work on the sleeves, and what we are doing is adding 3 stitch markers. So you'll want to find that double crochet row at the shoulder and put a stitch marker at the end of that double crochet row. Then you're going to count 14 rows to the right and add a stitch marker in that double crochet row. Do the same for the left. Count 14 rows from the center, add a stitch marker in that 14th row, which again is a double crochet row. Okay, now add your yarn. In the interest of time, I went ahead and got it started. So you're going to attach your yarn in that first stitch marker. Chain 3, and now you're going to add a row of double crochets, starting with that first V space, the V stitch row. In that space, enter 1 double crochet. Then, going across the row, you're going to enter 2 double crochets in each row until you reach that last stitch marker. So you're going to enter the 2 double crochets in that last row of V's, then 1 double crochet in the last double crochet row where your stitch marker is. You would have worked 55 double crochets all the way across, not counting that first chain at the beginning. So 55 total. Chain 3 and turn. Now we're going to do 6 rows total of double crochets, so 5 more rows of double crochets. So now we are going to double crochet in each space across, starting with the first space. So double crochet into that next space, and each space across. Now when you get to the end of the row, you will enter double crochet in that space, and then another double crochet in the turning chain. That will give you that 55 total double crochets. Chain 3, turn, and repeat for a total of 6 double crochet rows. On rows 3, 4, 5, and 6 of the double crochet rows, you will be skipping that first space and then starting your double crochets in the next, all the way across. That will keep you at the 55 double crochet count for each row. Now you will chain 1, turn, and work 1 row of single crochets all the way across. Skip that first space, single, for 55 single crochets. When you are done with both sleeves, you will put the panels together, right sides touching each other, wrong side facing you. Take your tapestry needle with a length of yarn, and we are going to put both panels together, attaching the front panel to the back panel. You can start at the bottom, you can start at the sleeve, wherever you're comfortable, and then just start sewing. There's no special tricks here. Just tie it to secure it, and just start sewing all the way around. I like to grab the uppermost chains from both panels, sew all the way around, including the sleeves, and do that on both sides. Now we are going to work a border all the way around the front and the bottom and the neck. I like to start at the center of the neck. So just attach the yarn with a single, and then work 3 rows of single crochet all the way around. And then just enter the single crochets fairly evenly spaced all the way around. When you get to a corner, like at the bottom, enter 3 single crochets in the corner, and that will keep the rounded edge. And that will be it. Then you will be done. Be sure to subscribe. Thank you.